Welcome to Architron 2026, the next big step in procedural and parametric modeling for architectural design. In this video, we'll walk through the key updates and improvements that make this version faster, more flexible, and more creative than ever before. We'll begin with one of the biggest additions, the Parametric Edges system, a completely new way to assign and control parametric data directly on NURBS geometry. Each edge can now carry its own parameters, allowing you to build intelligent, fully editable structures from simple curves. Next, we'll move on to enhanced parametric objects. Walls, floors, roofs, stairs, and windows, all now generated directly from parametric edges with full control over every parameter. This new workflow makes modeling faster, cleaner, and far more flexible than before. Then we'll take a look at the improved Modify tools. They're now more powerful, more precise, and integrated with a brand new cloning system that speeds up your work dramatically, whether you're editing geometry or entire structures. And finally, we'll finish with Architron next, a short glimpse of what's ahead in Architron's evolution. So let's dive in and explore how Architron 2026 redefines architectural modeling, making every step faster, smarter, and more creative. Chapter 1. Parametric Edges. Let's start with the new Parametric Edges system. So, what exactly are parametric edges? Here we have a simple NURBS objects. Each of its edges can now be assigned with additional metadata or parameters. And there are two ways to do this. First method is through the creation tools. When using any creation tool, for example, the line tool, you can switch its primitive option to a different type than a simple NURBS object. This can be done in the Tools Attribute panel under the Primitive tab, or more elegantly using the OGL buttons directly in the viewport. Let's choose a wall primitive as an example. Now, each edge of the newly created geometry is automatically assigned with additional wall parameters. These parameters can be easily adjusted in the Attribute panel, for instance, the wall side or height. Some parameters can also be modified interactively using tool handles, such as the wall width. You can create the same primitive using different tools, and even switch between primitive types on the fly. Each additional parametric edge type will generate a separate primitive object, which is automatically assigned as a child of the floor plan object. The genius of this system is that you're primarily drawing simple NURBS curve primitives, but they already contain embedded parametric edge data, and the parametric objects are created automatically. Another great feature of this system is that commonly used parameters and primitive presets can be saved and reused through the library. For example, we can create several different stair presets, save them, and then reuse them directly in the creation tool whenever we need. But what's even more powerful is the second method, using Architron's selection tools. Simply select the edges you want and edit them in the Attribute panel of the Selection tool under the Paramedge tab. Here, you can remove parameters or create and edit new ones. This second method is a much more robust way, giving you infinite possibilities to create extremely complex structures, not just simple primitives. As you can see, this is a very innovative approach to parametric modeling, fast, flexible, and incredibly powerful. More details coming in the next chapter. Chapter 2. Enhanced Parametric Objects. So now, let's see how parametric objects have changed. If we create a simple floor plan object with no parametric edges, and then attach a wall object to it, the wall is generated from all edges of the floor plan. Then, we need to select the wall object, and we can adjust its parameters directly in the Wall Objects Attribute panel, just like before. However, these parameters are applied to the entire floor plan. They affect all edges equally and cannot be set individually for each edge. And just like in previous versions, this method of attaching parametric objects also works with Cinema 4D curve objects. The only exceptions are stairs and windows, which are now more complex and work only with edge parameters, Now, let's create walls using the new Parametric Edges. With the rectangle and line tools, you can very quickly draw a complete floor plan. In the Attribute panel, you can set the wall's actual width and orientation. The Line tool is the primary tool for creating walls. When drawing lines, you don't need to worry about connections. When you finish drawing, you can use the Connect tool to automatically self-intersect and merge everything into a single, continuous piece of geometry. Then, simply select the inner walls and adjust their width or orientation as needed, and make any final tweaks to the layout, such as this inner wall switching to be centered. In just a few quick steps, a parametric wall floor plan is complete. And the best part is, you can easily edit or expand it at any time later. To add windows, the easiest way is to start by selecting the generated wall object. Because the wall object is selected, the tool's primitive mode is automatically limited to line windows and frame windows. After the first click, Line Windows mode creates a 2D object composed of curves that already contain window parameters. This instantly generates a Windows object attached as a child to the wall. To add more window types, simply select the wall object again and start drawing new window lines. Each generated window object has its own parameters, so you can easily create multiple window styles with different profiles. Every line window edge has embedded bottom and top parameters, which you can adjust during the creation process or later at any time using the selection tools. Each parametric edge is fully editable in the Attribute panel of the Selection tool. And because we're still working with simple curved geometry, we can use all standard editing tools like Divide or Offset in point mode. You can use the Modify tools to move, align, or clone these curves with precision. They can operate on all geometry or only on selected elements, and you can quickly create copies by simply holding the Control key while dragging. While line mode is simple and efficient, it's limited to creating rectangular windows only. To design more advanced or freeform windows, we switch to the Frame Windows mode. Now we're working in 3D and can draw windows directly onto walls using Auto UCS. With Frame mode, there are virtually no limits. You can divide windows both horizontally and vertically, and create any custom window shape using all of Architron's editing tools. In previous versions, the Floor and Flat Patch tools already offered a lot of possibilities, but with the new edge parameters, they've become even more powerful. Let's add a flat patch to the root floor plane curves, which already have wall parameters assigned. Both the wall and the flat patch are now generated from the same floor plan. This is a perfect example of how multiple parameters can be used together on the same edge. Of course, you can still use the patch or floor plan objects even without any parameters. The wall object now includes several export options for creating new floor plans, such as exporting the top outline or the inner top outline. Once exported, we can easily attach a floor object to those outlines, or even attach the floor plan directly to the wall object itself. So now, you have a wide range of options for building and managing your floor and ceiling geometry, all much faster and more flexible than before. Now, let's try some modeling using roof edge parameters. We'll start with the rectangle tool set to the roof primitive type. The roof parameters automatically adapt to the rectangle's orientation, which is very handy when designing sloped or asymmetrical roofs. Using Booleans, you can easily merge multiple roof parts together and keep them perfectly aligned. With the line and curve tools, you can draw almost any roof shape quickly and efficiently. To generate a valid roof, the roof outline loop must be closed. When using the Line tool, hold the Shift key. This temporarily enables angle snapping, helping you draw roof corners precisely and align segments accurately. Edge parameters are fully compatible with all Architron tools, including the Edit tools. This means you can also create and refine roofs directly using editing operations. For example, start with a simple rectangle, then select its edges and use the Divide tool to split them where needed. Next, select another pair of edges and apply the Offset tool to create additional roof segments. Then, select specific roof sides and adjust their slope angles as required. You can easily convert selected sides into gabled roofs by setting their slopes to 90 degrees. Do the same for the back side to complete the shape. From there, you can continue to edit, refine, and reshape the roof into any form you need. You can even set all sides to the same slope if desired. With this approach, you have complete freedom. Every edge can be modified, adjusted, and controlled independently, giving you unlimited flexibility in roof design. Finally, let's create some stairs using the stair edge parameters. The rectangle tool is the primary choice for creating simple, straight staircases. With a quick switch button, you can change the orientation of the staircase, and the orientation can also be flipped easily using the tool handles. The line tool is also very handy for creating polyline stair layouts, and it includes the same quick orientation controls. The width of the staircase can be adjusted directly with a handle, and in curve mode, you can draw curved staircases with adjustable orientation as well. And finally, the circle, and most importantly, the arc tool are the fastest way to create spiral stairs. These tools make it easy to generate quick, clean, and fully parametric staircases. Just like before, edge parameters automatically generate an attached primitive object, in this case, a stairs object, which you can further adjust in the attribute panel. You can switch between stair types, enable additional details, and fine-tune every aspect of the staircase design. And because of the new edge parameters, there's no problem creating even more complex staircases now. We can apply stair edge parameters to any staircase drawing. In the Selection tool, under the Parametric Edges tab, we open the Stairs Parameters section. Here, we have a set of buttons representing different stair levels. The index of each button defines which staircase level we want to assign. For example, when I select the first edge and assign level 0, then select the second edge and assign level 1. The staircase is automatically generated from edge 0 to edge 1. When selecting edges 3 and 4 in that order and using the level 1 plus button, the edges are assigned with incrementally ascending levels as they were selected. This plus version is simply a faster way, reducing redundant steps. So the logic of the system is very clear and intuitive. The real advantage of this approach is how easy it is to further edit the staircase. We can extend the staircase from any edge, offset it to the side, and even add extra staircase parameters to move it up or down. It's an incredibly flexible system that adapts to any design workflow. And honestly, once you start using it, you'll see how these parametric edges push Architron's flexibility into a completely new league. It's one of those features where, after trying it, you just don't want to go back. Chapter 3. Enhanced Modify Tools. The Modify tools have been enhanced in the latest version with a powerful new cloning system. In this chapter, I'll show you how productive the Architron Modify tools can be using a very simple example. Let's start in object mode. Here we have a simple building hierarchy, just a floor plan with an attached generated wall, and we'll begin by selecting the root object. All three tools, drag, move, and rotate, now feature new cloning options. We'll demonstrate this using the drag tool, which is a faster alternative to the move tool. Cloning can be temporarily enabled by holding the triple key, or permanently activated in the attribute panel, or, more elegantly, right here in the viewport using the OGL button. Without cloning, we simply reposition the selected object. With cloning enabled, we have two options, creating either copies or instances of the selected objects. Let's make a single copy of the selected object hierarchy first. Then, select both objects and create instances using a multiplier, let's say 5, to quickly build a 6-level structure. Remember to switch to instance mode before cloning. With a single mouse stroke, we can create all instances instantly. You can also create instances manually in Cinema 4D, but this way is much faster and more precise. Now, let's switch to edge mode and add some windows to the base floor of the first building. Using the Move tool, we can easily create copies of those windows. This process is straightforward since we're working with simple lines. We can continue modifying the walls, adding more, copying, moving, or rotating, and doing it all precisely, thanks to the Architron snapping system. Also, the touch mode in the drag tool is very handy. When you need to reposition edges or elements quickly without going through an extra selection phase, just click and drag. The new, refined Modify tools are now far more productive. And with the cloning system integrated across all selection modes, they massively enhance workflow efficiency for architectural visualization projects. Chapter 4. Architron Next. Let's take a quick peek at what's coming in the future of Architron. Just a small teaser of what's being prepared for the upcoming versions. First, the existing parametric system will be expanded with more ArchViz specialized objects, including railings, fences, shingles, cladding, tiles, and much more, essentially, anything users request. Along with that, the presets and library system will receive a major update, introducing a more user-friendly interface and a custom-shaped library, designed specifically for creating and personalizing parametric objects. Next, the NurbES engine, along with all primitive, selection, and edit tools, will be upgraded to fully support surface modeling, starting with polygonal surfaces, followed later by true NURB surfaces. This will be a massive step forward and will launch in sync with both the Lightwave and Cinema 4D versions of Architron. And finally, a completely new standalone Architron desktop and VR application is on the way, directly connected to the Cinema 4D and Lightwave 3D versions. The Architron VR viewer from Meta is already finished, allowing you to instantly walk through your 3D projects in virtual reality, straight from Lightwave or Cinema 4D, with just a single click. Architron continues to evolve, and the next generation will take architectural visualization and creative freedom to an entirely new level.